Hello. All right. How's everybody doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Doing good. All right. Let's see who we have here tonight. I see Brianna. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello.
Hello. All right. Jobin.
I can hear you.
All right. Perfect. All right. So we have Jobin. Audrey. Audrey, are you there? Okay. No, Audrey. Let's see. Is it Corinne? 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 Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. I think your microphone.
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
Thank
perfect.
you.
Got you. All right, perfect. All right. Kiana.
Here.
All right. Monica.
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. Nadia.
Hi, Dr. Sutton. I'm here.
All right, good deal. Parsa.
I'm here, doctor.
All right. Taylor.
I'm here.
Great, great. All right, all right. Well, not everybody's here, but we're gonna get started anyway. So I hope you all are super excited about doing well on this exam, on this super easy exam, the easiest exam you will ever have in your life. So that's what we're going to first put in our mindset, okay? So tonight is orientation. We're going to go over exactly what we're going to be doing for the next 4 weeks. And this is it's called the Intro to MCAT. And it's only called Intro to MCAT because we have an advanced MCAT class. The Intro to MCAT gives you the foundation of the MCAT. We do go over content, a lot of the content on the exam, but our main focus is to make sure you understand the foundation and how to approach this test. Okay, so that's the major thing. As we go through this is very interactive. So I will definitely be asking questions and things like that. So that way I know you understand, and if you have any questions, you can always ask me. Okay. The first thing that I always tell anyone is that if you go to the gym and you get a personal trainer, when you go to that gym, they just throw you up into the weights and say, hey, go lift these weights and go do your own thing. Is that what they do?
No.
No.
No, no, no. They give you some kind of training first, and they teach you how to do it before you do it. Am I right? It's the exact same way with this. It doesn't make sense for me to tell you to go ahead and start doing MCAT questions, and you have no idea exactly how to approach them, right? So the goal tonight, this initial goal tonight, is to make sure you understand, one, how to study, and two, how to approach questions. That's going to be the first, that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Then I'm going to share with you, and I'll let you see in just a second, everything that we do is on a calendar. So I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see exactly what I'm talking about in terms of the calendar. And then right after the orientation tonight, you're going to get the calendar and any other links that you need for the class. Okay. Everybody understand that so far?
Is this a new calendar or is it the previous one that we already have?
It is for you all who were in before, it's just going to be the same calendar. It should be under the same calendar.
Okay, thank you.
Right. And then for anybody who's new to the group, you're going to get an email with your links and everything like that after this is over with. Okay. And then if you've already been in the group, there's nothing new for you to do. Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and share my screen first of all. Oh, the other thing too is very important. Anytime we're meeting, whether it's me or anybody else, make sure that little red dot is on. Make sure it says recording. If we don't hit the record button, then it's not going to record. Okay. And we want to make sure you have access to those recordings. All right. So let's go ahead and share my screen with you. Okay. So the first thing I want to show you, can everybody see my screen okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Perfect. So when you get the link to the calendar, and for those who already may have the link already, you're probably going to see something in there that looks. It's not going to look as messy as this. This is my business calendar, but I'll just pull up the part where you all are. But let me go to tomorrow. All right. So you'll probably see something like here that says Intro to MCAT, and then it'll have like chemical metabolism, and in there you'll see these a PDF. And that'll be the actual note. So if you click that note, that PDF, it'll have information that we would want you to review. Okay? Everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. So what we're going to do first is we're going to have some fun and talk about whether or not you all know how to study. Okay? All right. So let me ask Nadia. Nadia, can you tell us how you study?
Oh, so what I would do is I would do 3 hours each day with UWorld, and I would do 2 hours something I'm struggling with, and 1 hour of just like review and studying of something I'm more confident with. So let's say, for example, I was doing physics and behavioral sciences that day. I would do 2 hours just studying physics and 1 hour just doing behavioral sciences. So I'd spend more time doing something I'm struggling on. I would do that like every single day.
Gotcha. And how do you study though? Not what you study, but how do you study?
How do I study? So whatever I would get wrong on, I would review those questions, see where I went wrong, and take note of that. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I did. Nothing too
Okay.
crazy.
All right, I got you. Not too bad. All right. Is it Kareem?
Yeah, you can call me Karen or
Yeah.
Eleni,
All
whichever
right.
one.
You said Karen?
Or
Which one?
Eleni. Yeah.
Wait, what is your actual name?
Karen, Eleni. I go by both.
Karen. Okay, Karen.
Yeah.
All right.
Karen's easier. Yeah.
All right. So Karen, tell me how you study.
When I was in college, I would study with the lecturer and their notes. I would review the notes, or actually, sometimes I would look at certain questions beforehand and concepts, and then I would go into the lecture, study that lecture, and then review my notes again, and then I do the homework and then ask questions. With the MCAT, it's a little harder when I'm on my own because we don't have that lecturer. So what I was doing, and I don't know if it was really a great one, was also UWorld, and then I would get stuck and I would be frustrated because I couldn't, be stuck on a question for so long. So that was my study method, and I don't really know if it's all that great, but that's what I was doing.
Okay, I got you. That's not bad. All right. Parsa.
Content as well. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. Parsa, how do you study?
I really try to I guess like understand it as best as I can, to like, if I'm able to explain it to my mother who has no idea what anything's going on.
Yep.
I don't actually explain it to her because she doesn't have time, but like it's more like if I could explain it to her, if I have a good basic understanding of it, then and I can apply it, then I consider success.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Let's see. Well, let's do one more. Brianna, how do you study?
Yeah, so I would say when I study first, I would say 25% of the time I'm reviewing the content just to make sure I'm understanding basic concepts.
Mhm.
And then I would say like 75% of the time I would then engage in practice questions, because then I'm able to kill two birds with one stone by not only understanding how to attack certain questions, but also extracting content review, because I do believe when you do practice, you're also able to accomplish content review at the same time. So I would say first reviewing the basic concepts of like what I'm learning, and that's a really small part. And then the remainder of the time I'm practicing by completing practice questions.
Okay. All right. Well, I tell you what I want you all to do. What we go over tonight, I want this to be a staple in your study process from now all the way through residency. So that means I've already put you in medical school. So all the way through medical school, through residency, I want you to use what I'm about to teach you in terms of studying. Now, for those who may have heard this before, this is probably reinforcement to kind of remind you of what this is, okay? So let's go ahead and talk about this. Now, how many of you wear blue or green when you study or when you take a test? How many of you do that?
I wear black, so no.
Did you say black?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Black or pink. Pink is my
Okay.
life.
All right, we got to talk. So the first thing is everything about this exam, everything about preparing for the MCAT is strategic. Okay. It's a science. And one of the sciences is that science has shown us that blue clothing, green clothing, green, that's your relaxation, your concentration clothing. The blue, that's the knowledge, the memory, the one that helps with the hippocampus, right? A lot of people never even really thought about that. But even when we started the MDI Prep program, we built it on a science background. We built it with the understanding that certain things help students. So here's something that I want you to start doing. Study tip number one. I want you to, number one, whenever you study, make sure you're relaxed. I tell people, I don't know how many of you do it now. How many of you study with your shoes off?
I do.
Me.
Okay.
Me too.
Good. Okay, good.
I do.
Now,
Sometimes.
everything that I'm teaching you, I want you to try it. Even if you think it sounds outlandish, I want you to try it. Because ultimately, you want to be in that 100% that get into medical school just like we had last year, right? You want that same matriculation rate. So try it. So what colors are we going to be looking at?
Blue,
Green.
green,
Blue, green. And we're going to study how?
no
Is all-
shoes.
Relax.
Good. We're going to be relaxed. Okay. Everybody got that? Perfect. All right. So the next thing, and if you've ever heard me talk, you have definitely heard me say this. This right here is what?
Emotional retention.
Emotional retention. We remember things that we have an emotional connection to. Okay. If I asked you right now, if I said right now, do you all, let me give you an example. Let's say, Kiana, do you remember any elementary school teacher?
Yes, my second grade teacher,
Second grade teacher. What was her name or his name?
Miss Dennis.
Miss what?
Dennis,
Miss Bennis. Do you remember anything she wore?
not really.
Not really. You can't visualize her and see anything that she may have had on.
No, I just remember like the impact she had on me.
You do. Okay, you remember the impact. I bet you if you thought about it, you'd probably remember what she looked like. You could see her, and you may even remember an incident or a situation where you were actually with her. Am I right?
Yes.
Now, I'm assuming you weren't in the second grade yesterday.
No.
So that was a long time ago.
Uh-huh.
So she had some type of emotional connection or impact on you. Am I right?
Yes.
Great. That just proves a point, is that you can see her. You can visualize who she was, and this was many, many years ago. The same thing is true when you start to study. What I'm going to show you right now is what you have to do when you're studying. If you want to remember information, because there's a lot of information to go over, right? Then you're going to have to figure out a way to remember it and not have to keep looking back at it. Does everybody follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. The first thing we're going to look at is this thing right here called question-driven reading. All right. Now, anytime you get ready to read, let's just say, for instance, you pick up a book and you say, well, you know what? Today I'm going to study, I don't know, cellular metabolism, right? And at the top of the page, it says glycolysis. Y'all see that? That's what it says, right? That's the heading. As soon as you see glycolysis, before you start to read, you're going to do what? What are you going to do?
What is glycolysis?
Good. You're going to ask questions. What is it? All right. What's another question? Someone else. What's another question?
What's in it?
Okay, good. Meaning, like, what's the steps?
The enzymes.
Okay. What are the enzymes? Okay. Who else got something for me?
How is it relevant?
Okay, good. I like that. How is it relevant? Perfect. What else?
What's
Where does
the
it take
goal?
place? Oh, sorry.
You go
Say
ahead.
it
I'm
again?
sorry.
No, you're okay. I said where it takes place.
Good. Where it takes place. All right. Anything else?
What's the goal?
What is it?
What's the goal? What is it really? What's the end goal, I guess?
Okay, end go. Okay, great. Perfect. That's plenty. Now, guess what? So now you've come up with all these questions, right? Before you've even read. Now, as you start to read, right? As you start to read, Joven, what do you think is going to happen as you start to read?
You're going to get answers to those questions.
Yes, absolutely. And guess what happens? As soon as your brain sees an answer to a question, the brain gets excited. It's like, dang, I was looking for that. Does everybody follow what I mean? And guess what? That excitement is what we call an emotion. That excitement helps you to retain the information. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions on that?
No.
No? Okay. All right. So the first thing you're going to do for emotional retention to help you retain information is question-driven reading. All right. So everybody knows how to do that. Okay. All right. Now be sure. Let me tell you also, the worst thing that you could ever do is leave a class wondering why you should have asked a question that you didn't. So make sure if you ever have a question, ask, okay? All right, number 2. How many of you have ever been to a pep rally?
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
Everybody, right? Pretty much most people have been to a pep rally, right? And Robin, what do you do at a pep rally?
Here, you kind of get excited and cheer the crowd on.
There you go. Exactly. Brianna, do you typically have a pep rally before you study?
No, I usually do not.
Good. Well, guess what? You're in the 90th% group. 90% of people don't have a pep rally before they study, right? But watch this. I want you all to change that. And I'm going to tell you what I did. When I was in medical school, right? And I would always do this. I had 2 things I used to pump me up before I started studying. I didn't just start reading or studying, right? I would have either one, if I needed to really focus and kind of with my concentration, I put on some classical music with piano. And it would be that kind of classical music where the piano would be playing and you might hear a boom, 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 boom. You know, it'd have all these different things, right? These little runs. And then once I got my mind in the right mind, in the right frame of mind, I'd turn it off and I'd start studying. Okay. Now, that was one way that I kind of pumped myself up to start studying. The other way was my rap music. I mean, old school, not this stuff that you all listen to. I'm talking about Run DMC, my old school rap. Okay. So I would listen to my old school rap, get pumped up, and as soon as I'm pumped up, I'd start studying. Monica, why did I do that? What kind of sense does that make?
Well, it kind of, first of all, kind of woke you up and made you more alert. And then it just kind of got you hyped, and you need energy to kind of start studying, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let me just tell you all this. I don't care what it is that you need to be a part of your pep rally, but get something. Get something to pump you up before you start studying. When you get ready to start to look at organic chemistry, don't say, oh my goodness, Orgo. No, you go ahead and turn on whatever you need to turn on. All right. I got a young lady who just took her MCAT. And for her, she started hers off with praise and worship music. She's like, Dr. Sutton, I got to put on my praise and worship music. And she'll put that on. And as soon as she get ready to start, she turn it off and get going. So whatever you need to pump you up, please do this before you start studying. Because what it's going to do, it's going to change your emotional state. When you change that emotional state, guess what you're going to do when you do that, when you start reading? You're going to have better what?
Retention.
Yes. Do you all understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. Okay, now the next thing is this. Now, my veterans who've been with me, they already know about this, but this is called analyzing your mistakes, right? And I want to say, I think it was Nadia. Nadia may have said this. Nadia, I think you mentioned when you do like a practice test, right? You said like you would go ahead. I think you said you would review it. Is that right?
Yes, review the questions I got wrong or questions that like I guessed on. Even if I got it right, the questions I guessed on, I still want to know like what was right about it, like where did I like still where I could improve.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, well, let's see how you review these questions. So when you review the questions, tell us how you review the ones you got wrong. Let's say you got one wrong. How do you review?
So I quickly check the question I like answered. Let's say the answer was B and I chose D. I check why D was wrong first.
So you go down and look at the explanation.
Yes.
No.
What?
Don't ever do that again.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Now see,
Wait,
now what did I just
why?
do? Now what did I just do? Did everybody catch what I just did? What did I just do?
Invoke emotion.
I invoked emotion, did I not? So that means everything that I'm about to say right after that, do you think Nadia will forget? No, because I just invoked an emotion. But watch this, Nadia. You're going to love this. Everybody's going to watch this. So whenever you miss a question, right? Whenever you miss a question, we know that there are only 4 reasons. Watch this. Y'all know this. There are only 4 reasons we miss a question. How many?
4.
4. That's it. 4. All right. Kia, what are these 4 reasons? What's the C? Well, anybody know what the C means?
Content.
Content. Yes. The first reason we can miss a question is because of content, meaning that we either never knew the information or we knew the information and forgot it. Okay? That's content. That's one reason we can miss a question. The next reason we can miss a question is because of this thing called what?
Application.
Application. Application is probably one of the biggest reasons we miss questions on the MCAT. But application means that you either didn't know what the question was asking, you didn't either know how to interpret the graph or the table, or you really didn't understand what the answers were saying. It could be a combination of those. But that's the second one reason that we miss a question is application. All right. The third reason we can miss a question is because of
Simple mistake.
a simple mistake, right? You thought it said all of the above, but it said all of the above except, right? You thought they were talking about, you thought it said parathyroid hormone and they were talking about thyroid hormone. Some simple mistake, okay? And then the final reason we can miss a question is that we run out of
Time.
We just run out of time, all right? Now I know what you're saying. You're saying, wow, these are the 4 reasons we can make them, miss a question, right? Well, it would do me no good to give you these 4 reasons and not give you a solution. Am I right?
Yep.
Right.
Perfect. Well, guess what? If you miss a question because of content, the letter C, right? The only way that you can correct a content issue is that you have to C, which is cuddle with your resources. So what does that basically mean?
Spend some quality time with what you're missing.
That's right. You got to study, right? Does that make sense? Now, if you miss a question because of application, the way you correct application issues is that you have to, 1, attend class. Why? So you can understand approaches. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. If you miss a question because of simple mistake, you got to what?
Slow down.
Slow down. You going too fast, right? Just take your time, slow down, okay? And then if you miss a question because of time, let me just tell you this. What I've seen that most people do when they miss a question because of time is either related to test anxiety or it's a content issue, meaning that they see a question that they think they should know, and they spend a lot of time because they're trying to figure it out, and they're kind of frustrated because they can't figure it out, and they know the information, right? So that's a lot of things we're dealing with time. So the way that you correct time issues is by test taking techniques. Okay, does everybody follow me?
Yes, sir.
Good. Every single time you take a test, wait a minute, did I say once? One time you take a test?
Every time.
Every time. Okay, good. Make sure we're on the same page. Every time you take a test, if you say you have, I don't know, let's just say you have 20 questions, right? When you go through those 20 questions, just kind of like what Nadia was saying, whether you get them right, but for the wrong, you get them right, but you guessed, or you missed it, you're going to label those things C, A, S, or T. At the end of that, you might say, well, I missed 10 questions, right? 5 of those questions were C's, right? 3 of those questions were A's. And we're going to say 1 was an application, 1 was due to time. Okay, y'all see that? I'm sorry, 1 was it, 1 is something, but simple mistake. All right, so this, if I'm looking at this, you missed 10 questions, right? And this is the breakdown. If you were evaluating this individual, what would you tell them to do, Taylor?
They need to review some more content that they're missing because that was their biggest gap.
That's right. So they need to review some content they were missing. And then maybe what?
And then maybe doing some more practice questions because the application part, it was the second high. So learning how to analyze those graphs, reading some content, and then doing practice questions.
Okay, to better analyze it. Does everybody understand what Taylor just said?
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Have you all been doing, I mean, from a new people who just came in tonight, have you all used this? Have you ever done this before?
No.
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 All right. Well, we're going to be doing it going forward. From this day forward, this is all we do, okay? Matter of fact, when I just came back from Tulane on yesterday, and at Tulane Medical School, talking to the medical students and the residents, and we were talking about this same thing. Even in residency, when they're taking their board exams, right? They're using this same approach that I've taught them, and I've been teaching this for years. Do this CAS method. By doing the CAS method, you become your own teacher. You become your own evaluator. So it's not like somebody has to say, hey, you know what? Let's see what you're weak in. No, you already know because you can do the cast. Okay, everybody follow me?
Yes.
Good.
Quick question. Can I ask
Yes.
So if we do 20 questions, we just tally up which ones were content, application, and then just tally it up like the summary here, 20 questions.
Yes. And you're really basing it on the ones that you either missed or the ones that you guessed and got right.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So the ones that you just got right for sure, that didn't fall into the CAS method.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, great. All right. So Parsa mentioned earlier that another way that you can really learn is teaching others. Now, if somebody raises their hand and asks the questions, I can't see anybody. So if somebody does ask a question, you might have to just turn the microphone and ask me, okay?
Okay, I do have a question.
Yes.
Just to clarify what was stated. So we only do the CAS method when we got a question wrong or we guessed on it, you said?
Yes. If you guessed on it and got it right.
Oh, okay.
Right. Because if you guessed on it and got it right, you need to know why you didn't know the information.
Got it.
Does that make sense? Do you understand that?
Yes, that
Okay.
makes sense. And then if we have the question wrong just because we didn't know how to attack the question, that should also fall under the CAS method, right? Or this is only just for questions that we guessed and happened to get right.
No, and the ones you get wrong.
Okay, got it.
Right. The ones you get wrong, that goes in here too.
Got it. Thank you.
Got it? Okay, perfect. Okay. The next thing, kind of what Parson was talking about emotion. Oh, somebody should have stopped me. Let me back up. Okay, going back to what Nadia said. You remember when Nadia was talking about she'll see a question. The answer may have been B, but she chose C. And she'll say she'll go down and then she'll look at why, would you say why the correct answer is correct? Or would you say, Nadia?
I checked why the correct answer is correct. Yeah.
Good, perfect. All right, this is what I want you all to start doing if you're not doing this already. Whenever you miss a question and you see the answer is C, but you chose B, right? I want you to first look at why the answer C is correct. I want you to come up with a reason why you think C is why C is correct. Okay. Before you look down at the explanation, come up with your reason. I know what you're saying. Wait a minute. But Dr. Sutton, I didn't even know I got it wrong. So how would I know? You come up with some reason. Come up with something. Because that's the only way you can go down and then look at the explanation. Once you look at the explanation, one of two things are going to happen. You're going to either look down at that explanation and it's going to line up with what you were just thinking. And you're going to be like, dang, that's what I was thinking. And you can get excited, right? Or you're going to look down at that explanation and it's going to be totally opposite of what you were thinking. And you can be like, wow, that's kind of messed up. I didn't even know what they're talking about. Either way, both of those are emotions. Does everybody follow me?
Yes.
Yeah.
You will retain more information if you do it like that versus you just going down and looking at the explanation. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Now, teaching others. Yes, teaching others. Absolutely. Let's see here. Audrey, why does teaching others help you to retain information?
Because when you teach someone, you are able to make sure that you understand the information. So, like, pretty much, if you know that you are comfortable with teaching something, then you should be confident in that topic.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Karen, is that right?
Sorry, I missed that. I was writing a note.
Okay. All right. So we were asking, why does teaching others help you to retain information?
Oh, I think it just helps you recognize if you have any missing gaps. Because, I mean, in your mind, you think you have it. And then when you're saying it out loud, you're like, actually, I don't know what I'm talking about. Or maybe I'm missing a little link here. And then it helps to say things verbally and break it down.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, let me ask you all this question. If you study by yourself, do you feel the same way than when you're teaching someone?
No, you feel different.
You feel different, don't you? It could be a little anxious because you want to make sure you're giving them the right information. It could be a little exciting because somebody's listening to you, right? But you feel a little different when you're teaching someone than when you're studying by yourself. Does everybody agree with that?
Yes.
So do you really know the science behind teaching others? The reason that you remember the information is what?
Emotion?
It's an emotion. Did y'all know that? I know that this is blowing your mind, isn't it? Because think about this. If you have emotional connections to your learning, you don't forget it. So what if we just have emotion when we learn? Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I know what y'all saying right now. Let me go. I'm ready. Let me go, coach. Put me in, right? But not yet. You're not ready quite yet. we got to go to the next thing. Y'all ready?
Yes.
Whenever you have a lot of information to study, okay? A lot of information to study. This is something that I used, and I teach the residents at the medical school the same thing, and the medical students, is this reverse pyramid method, okay? Some people think it's too time consuming. But everybody who says it's too time consuming, I say the same thing to them. Every year, I just tell you at McGovern, we have over 1,000 applications coming in for medical school, right? And we only have 220 seats. So that means that there are a lot of students who won't get into medical school. But what separates the student that gets into medical school and the one that doesn't? And I say effort. I say what? What is that?
Effort.
Effort.
It is that. It is the ones that get in are the ones that are willing to do what it takes to get in, to do well. So what I'm about to show you now, this reverse pyramid method, it may seem time consuming, but if you commit to it and you stick to it, it will pay large dividends. Okay, so let me explain it to you. So basically, let's say you got to study, right? And let's just say you're going to be studying for 14 days, okay? 14 days. So I put my 14 days up here. On day zero, your very first day, your day zero, you're going to be studying day one material. Everybody with me so far?
Yes.
Good. You get to day one. On day one, you're going to review day one, and then you're going to study day two. All right? When you get to day two, what do you think you're going to do, Brianna?
Do practice questions.
No.
Or
You're going to
review
review
content.
day one and day two, and you're going to study what?
Day
three. Good. Now, day three, I think we know the pattern. We know what's going on now, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to review day one, day two, day three, and study what?
Day four.
Day 4.
Perfect. We get to day 14. We're going to do what?
Review
Review
1
everything.
through 13.
Yes. Well, review day 1 through 13. And 14 is our last day, right? Now, let me tell you something that's going to blow your mind, and it blows a lot of people's mind, and they're scared to do it. And let me tell you what it is. Whenever you review, your review period is 30 minutes. Your study period can be as long as you need in order to get the information in, for you to retain the information, okay? So you may study day 2 for an hour or 2 hours, but your review of day 1 is 30 minutes. Do y'all understand that?
Yes, sir.
That's it, just 30 minutes. Guess what? That's going to blow your mind. When you get to day 4, how long is your review?
Still 30 minutes.
Still 30 minutes. Still 30 minutes, right? When you get to day 14, which your review is still 30 minutes. Now I know what you're saying. Wait a minute, that's a lot of stuff, right? That's a whole lot to review in 30 minutes. But if you've seen day 1 13 times, how long do you think it's going to take you to review day 1?
A minute or less.
You're really gonna need to review it.
You really don't. You know what it's going to look like? It's like you're going to open up, look at your notes on day 1, and it's going to be almost like you already got it imprinted in your brain. You're like, all right, I already know that. I know that. I know that. I know that. I know that. I'm going to day 2. Oh, I know that. I know that. I know that. Do y'all follow what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now, if you do that consistently, by the time you get to day 14, do you have to do some massive review of all the material? You've already done it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions on this?
I have a question for
Yes.
day 2. I know it says to review day 1 and day 2. So I understand why you have to review day 1 because you already were exposed to the content. But if you're reviewing day 2 before day 2 happens, I guess
Well, you see, we started at day 0.
okay.
So you got to take in consideration. We started, so 0 was like a non-review day.
Okay.
So our first study day was on day 0. Our second study day is on day 1. Our third study day is on day 2. Does that make sense?
Yes. But
Okay.
it says review day 2. So are you really just reviewing day 1?
On which one? Up here?
Yeah, where it says day 2, it's up to this. Yes, right there.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Have we already studied day 2? Yep.
No. Oh, we have?
Yeah, look right here.
Oh, okay.
We've already studied day 2.
Okay.
So
Okay.
because we've already studied it, that's why we're going to review day 1 and day 2.
Okay. That
Right.
makes sense.
So I think that day 0 is kind of throwing you off. So think
Yeah.
about day 0 as our initial study day. So day 0, what are we studying though?
Day 1.
That's right. So you can see how we are already studying day 1. So when we get to day 1, we're going to be studying day 2, but reviewing day 1. Got it?
Yes.
You can kind of imagine it like if it's like the lecture topic and you're going to study it the day right before you go into the lecture, right? Yeah.
Before that next day. Okay. Does that make sense?
I have a question.
Yes.
What if the 30-minute review isn't enough for like the previous day or like the previous days? Do you just limit it to 30 minutes and then review it again the next day? Or?
Yep. It's 30 minutes. That's it. That's all you do. Because let me tell you something. Think about this. If you've already studied, let's say you've already studied day 1 and day 2, right? So you've already seen day 1 twice. Does that make sense? If you think about it, you've already seen, if you get to day 1 and day 2 review, that means you've already seen day 1 twice. So your review of day 1 is very limited because you already know what it's talking about. And it's going to be the same thing when you get to day 3. When you get to day 3 and you're reviewing day 1, day 2, day 1 and day 2, you've already seen a lot. Just let me tell you, when you put this into practice, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. It's going to make so much sense to where you're not going to believe it. Do y'all understand? Do you understand how to use it though?
Mm-hmm. But there's no limit to how much you study. Just 30 minutes limit of reviewing.
Correct. There's no limit on the study time, but the review time is 30 minutes.
So how do you, I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you implement this, like, if you've already, like, studied for some months now? Like, so, like, where would I've been reviewing, obviously.
Yeah. The thing about it is you've already been studying. Say you studied a lot already. Then you have to apply this to a goal that you are setting. So let's say, for instance, you're saying, okay, I'll give you a good example. Say, for instance, if you had been studying and you had been using the CAS method, right? In your CAS method, you've already identified content that you're weak in. So then what you do is you say, okay, well, I'm going to set just say a 7-day studies, a 7-day pyramid. And your 7-day pyramid would be based on your content that you felt like you didn't get. Does that make sense? And you would use that as your pyramid.
So, like, if I'm going over circuits again, and I reviewed it day 0, reviewed it day 0, and I'm going over and over into like the 7 day. Is that what you mean?
No. If you're using the same, if you say you're reviewing circuits, right? I would say this is more suited for if you're looking at different topics. Now, if you're looking at like within, say, I don't know, let's just say in physics, you're looking at magnetism, right? So magnetism may be 1 day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Circuits may be your 2nd day. you can use that method like that. Now, if you do it just for circuits, then you have to have it broken down to where each day represents a different concept that you're trying to understand.
Okay.
But it's not to use it for the exact same concept or the exact same topic.
Okay, I get it now. I just want to know how to use it if you've already been deep in, I guess. Say.
Right, right. Yeah, typically if you have different topics that you're covering, that's how you use the pyramid.
Thank you for the clarification.
All right. Any other questions on this? Anyone? No? Okay. All right. Well, all right. So how many of you have ever read something, finished reading it, and said, what in the world did I just read? Anybody ever done that?
Oh, all the time.
All the time.
All the time, right? Right. So, and how many of you have been studying and all of a sudden your mind goes into, did I put those clothes in the dryer? Did I do this? Anybody ever done something like that?
All the time.
Yes.
All the time, right? Okay, good. That is what we call focus, right? Sometimes just being able to focus. Well, over the last, I guess, 15 years, I've met so many students that study from some degree of focus, some real mild, where, you know, they just lose a little focus, and then some a little bit more, I guess, on the severe side where the focus is such an issue that they can't even get started. Okay. So wherever you fall, this right here, this method I'm about to show you will help. Okay. It's called the stopwatch method. Stopwatch. What you're going to do is you're basically going to get a stopwatch, get your phone, whatever has a timer, and you're going to just start studying. Okay. The moment you lose focus, I mean, the moment you lose focus, you stop it. Stop the watch. Okay. That becomes your baseline for that day. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Great. So, day one, your baseline is 30 minutes, right? So, you said, you know what? I studied about 30 minutes and it stopped, right? If you have a 30-minute baseline, then your break time will be 5 to 10 minutes. You can take anything between 5 to 10 minutes, okay? If your baseline is 1 hour, you can have a break of 15 minutes, okay? Does everybody understand that?
Yeah.
All right. Now, I'll give you something that's even on a more severe side. This is a student that's gotten a 515 on his MCAT who had serious focus issues. I mean, like he really, if you talking to him, he'll go into something. He was all over the place, right? He did this exact same thing. The very first day, guess what his baseline was?
10 minutes.
5
Oh,
minutes.
that would have been wonderful.
1 minute.
He had a 7-minute baseline, okay? 7 minutes, that was it, and he lost focus. So he gave himself, which we gave him, a 2-minute break, okay? Everybody see that? So that was his baseline, 7 minutes. So let me give an example of what it looked like for him. So let's say, for instance, your baseline is 30 minutes on day one. So you're going to do 30 minutes, take a 5-10-minute break, come back, do another 30 minutes. And you're going to do this as many times as you can in that day. So let's just say you do it 4 times, right? So your total focus study time for that day is 2 hours. Everybody follow me? Everybody got that? Okay, perfect. Good. Now let's just say, for instance, you take, and I'll use 10 minutes because it's easy to use. Let's say we take this guy, right? And say his baseline is 10 minutes. But you know what? He could do 10 minutes, take a 2-minute break, but he can do a bunch of those, right? Let's say he can go all the way down here and he can do 10 of those, right? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, right? So he almost did, he did about an hour and how much is that? 40 minutes of focused study time. Y'all see that? So he did an hour and focus, an hour and 40 minutes. That's just doing 10 minutes. Now, watch this. You're going to see a pattern. You're going to see as you move down in the days that you're probably going to recognize that some days you're going to have really good focus time. But overall, what you're going to find out is that your total focus time is going to start to increase. Y'all follow me so far?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now watch this. Somebody asked me, they said, you know what? I said, what if I'm studying and my focus time was 10 minutes, right? And I get my 2-minute break. And then the next time I come back, I'm studying for 10 minutes, but I'm in a groove, right? I'm moving, I'm studying. I can study more. I can go past the 10 minutes. Should I? The answer is no, do not do it. Whenever that bell goes off and that 10 minutes is up, you stop studying. Why? Does anybody know why I say don't go past the 10 minutes?
Will it like interrupt your flow?
No, I don't want you to go past the 10 minutes.
No, yeah, I understand that, but I don't know why.
Okay. Anyone know why? Why do I say you stop at 10 minutes if that's your baseline?
Is it back to emotion? Like we want you to keep that consistent emotion of, I don't know, gratification at the same time?
Okay. Let me ask you this. Let's say you're studying 10 minutes and now you're in a rhythm, right? But the bell goes off and it's time for your 2-minute break. But you were in the rhythm. You got to take this break. How do you feel?
Maybe a little disappointed because you could go more.
Yes, but what are you thinking? Yeah, I got to take my break. But what do you think? Are you thinking to
You're
yourself?
amped up for the next 10 minutes.
Say it again.
Maybe you'll be amped up for your next 10 minutes.
You're going to be amped up because you're like, I got to get back to that. I've got to get back to that. I just, I was right on. It was like a cliffhanger. Y'all follow what I'm saying? It was like, now I got to get back to that because I need to see what where I left off at. So now it's the anticipation. It's the excitement of getting back to it. So the whole thing here is when you do the stopwatch method, do not go past your baseline. You can do many blocks, but make sure you keep it within the baseline. Does everybody understand?
You're saying the baseline for that day.
For that day. Your baseline could change every day. So you really have to determine what your baseline, and let me tell you, there are certain things that can affect your baseline. It could be, let's just say, for instance, I don't know, say you have a spouse, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or whatever, and I don't know, they said something to upset you. Your baseline may be different than you got exciting news about something. So you base it on your baseline for that day to help you focus, okay? Everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Perfect.
And I have a question. How do you determine how long your break will be?
Oh, these numbers I gave you right here. So 30 minutes. So basically anything from 30 minutes, between 30 minutes and an hour, you only get 5 to 10 minute break. Anything that's at 1 hour or more, you get a 15-minute break.
Got it. Okay.
All
Gotcha.
right.
So if it's like at 15 minutes though, then will it be 3
If you
minutes?
get a what? 15-minute?
Yeah, let's just hypothetically, let's say it's 15 minutes.
Then you get a 5-minute break.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yep. Very good. All right. Now I would tell you all to keep this log. I just so everything that I'm showing you right here, the book I have is about to be printed. It should be in print. It's already been copyrighted. It should be in print probably within the next 2 weeks. And the name of the book is called Go For It. And basically in the book, it has all of this stuff that I'm talking about. It has this study blocks where you can track all of that. So, when that comes out, I'll make sure that you all get that. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next thing. All right. Here's the must do's. All right. one of the questions that I was asked this weekend, they asked me, they said, Dr. Sutton, I study better at night. And I said, okay, good. And they said, but you said that we should study our hardest topics early in the day. And I said, that is true, because most people don't wake up at night. Am I right? Most people wake up during the day. So if you wake up at night, if your day starts at 10 p.m., then yeah, that's the beginning of your day. That's when you study your hardest topics. However, if you wake up early in the day, like in the morning, then your hardest topic should be studied during that time. Does everybody follow me so far?
Yes.
Okay. Now, one of the other things was I have someone who works. They work and they were studying. And they were saying, I just don't feel like I'm getting enough studying. That's why I have to study so late at night. I said, okay, what time do you go to work? They say they have to be to work at 9 a.m. I said, what time do you get up to go to work? They said they get up to go to work at 8 a.m. I said, okay, so between 8 to 9, you are preparing to go to work. And you said that you get off at 5 p.m. Okay. They said, yes. And then when I get off, I have to do a lot of my studying, try to get it all in then. I said, okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to move this 8 a.m. back. And we're going to move this 8 a.m. to 5 a.m. Now, when I said that, how many of you thought to yourself, dang, that's early? Anybody?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know y'all did. I know. Y'all probably, wow, that's early. Right. But guess what happened? When we moved her time back from 8 a.m. to 5 a.m., now she has an additional what?
3 hours.
3 hours to study. Y'all follow what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now she's knocked out 3 hours even before she's gone to work. Okay. Then she can come home, and now she's not trying to kill herself from, studying from 5 to whatever. And she can literally go, 5 to 8 or 5 to 9, like 3 hours, right? So think about how much study time she's gotten in today. She's gotten 6 hours study time just by moving her wake up time. Do y'all understand that?
Yeah.
Yes.
What did I say that separates the students that do get in and the ones that don't?
Effort.
Effort. All right. That's the first word you got to remember. Okay. All right. Now there's another word I'm going to tell you about in just a second, but effort is the one I want you to remember now. Okay. Next thing, before you go to bed at night, how many of you have ever had something that you were thinking about, watching a show that was on television, and somehow it seeped into your dreams? Anybody ever had that happen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you how we're going to correct that. Before you go to bed at night, this is what you're going to look. You're going to look at this piece of paper, and you're going to look at this as being the last thing you see before you go to bed. What does that say?
MCAT 520.
520. Every night before you go to bed, MCAT 520. Now, when you look at MCAT 520, that doesn't mean that you look at MCAT 520, then turn on TV and start watching something else. No, this is what puts you to bed. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Perfect. Now, this one, I'm going to put a star by it because only 20% of the people do this, even after I tell them to do it. I can tell them to do it, but only 20% do it. But I will tell you this, the 20% that do it all get MCAT scores, and they matriculate to medical school for this reason. Create your own multiple choice questions. Whenever you're studying a topic, and let's just say like Taylor was talking about circuits, right? You create a multiple choice question on circuits with 4 answer choices and an explanation to why the correct answer is correct. You do at least 2. If you do 2 questions per topic that you're having difficulties with, you're going to see that it's going to take you from being a test taker to a test maker. It's going to get you into the mindset of how questions are formed. Does everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Good. Now, don't make it don't make it so easy where you're like, okay, what is a circuit? You know that's not what they're going to ask you on the test, right?
Right.
So you've got to create a question that models what you think you would see on the MCAT. Now, I know what y'all saying, that's time consuming. But again, those who get in versus those who don't, it's all about effort. But somebody says, well, if I don't do the multiple choice questions, does that mean I won't do well on the MCAT? No, it doesn't mean that. But what it does mean, though, is if you do the questions, then you're guaranteed to do better. Does everybody follow me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
And I had a quick question
Yep.
going back to positive thoughts about positive thoughts before you sleep. This is a very technical question, but just out of curiosity, when you're, let's say, looking at that MCAT score of 520 on a piece of paper, did you I don't know, look at it for like 2 minutes before you go to sleep, or just like a quick glance? Because I've just heard that if you really want to seep it into your mind, you've got to stare at it for a bit. But I didn't know. I was just wondering out of curiosity.
Well, I tell you what, it's 2 ways you can do it. And the first way is kind of what you were saying. You can just look at it, stare at it until you actually hear it in your brain. So I don't know if you know what I mean. Like if you look at something long enough, it's almost like you can start to hear what you're seeing. Okay. That's the first thing. Another way that you can do this, and I think is really, really powerful, is if you literally say it out loud. So it's almost like a MCAT 520, MCAT 520. Ooh, and get excited. Do you follow what I mean?
Yes.
MCAT 520. Think about that. If you say it with excitement before you go to bed, then that's what you go to bed with. And then when you wake up to that lovely piece of paper that says what? MCAT 520. MCAT. Do y'all follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
You've literally got to embrace it and believe it. Because let me tell y'all something. To get a 520 on the MCAT is not hard. It is not. But it is all about how you study, how you apply what you know, and how you feel about you and how you feel about the test. Okay? Everybody got it?
Got it.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So next things are exam strategies, right? So how many of you, before you take your exam, any exam, think the exam before you take it?
Never.
Never? Oh
You
my goodness.
You said thank you to the exam?
Yes, absolutely. Let me tell you something. I want y'all to think about something for a second. I want you to really think about what I'm about to share with you. The fact that you have the opportunity to take this MCAT and have the opportunity to matriculate into a medical school, to become a physician, to help people and change their lives, all going back to having the opportunity to take this MCAT. Isn't that pretty powerful?
Yes.
So regardless of how you feel about the exam, you got to be thankful that you have this opportunity. So think about when you get to the exam, you're like, man, I'm really happy. Thank you. You know what? Come on, MCAT, I got this. I got you. Now I know, people might say, well, that kind of sounds a little odd or whatever. But you know what? Odd is okay. As long as they say, welcome to my medical school, right? Y'all follow where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm.
So start your test off, not only your test, start your studying, start your practice test off with gratitude, okay? Now listen, y'all, you gotta try what I'm telling you because it works, okay? What you practice is how you will perform. So when I played football in college, one of the things that our coach always taught us is that you're not going to have a sloppy practice and expect to have a great game. Everybody follow me? You gotta practice. So everything I'm telling you, practice this. Don't wait for test day to start trying to use it. Start using it on every single practice test you're doing now. So you start your test off by, oh, thank you. Let's get it. I'm ready. Let's go. All right. Karen, does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Now, the same way you start your test is the same way you're going to finish it. When you get finished with that test, I know most of y'all be like, thank God it's over, right? That is a form of gratitude, right? But just be thankful and say, look, you know what? I'm glad I had this opportunity. All right. Have that same gratitude when you finish, okay? So changing how you think about the test, changing how you approach it helps build your confidence, okay? The major thing is you got to enjoy the journey. Okay, everybody follow me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Now, watch this. How many of you have ever created, and the answer is going to probably be none, an exam budget? How many of you have ever done an exam budget? Anybody by chance?
Can you repeat the question?
How many of you have ever done an exam budget?
It's my first time hearing about it.
And you know why? Because it's in my book, Go For It. The whole purpose of an exam budget is to tell you how prepared you are for your upcoming exam. Okay. And really the whole point of it is to help you see if there are any things that are going to be distracting you. Let me show you what this means. So whenever you're doing an exam budget, there are these what I call the 6 things that you need to consider. 1, the exam cost, the actual cost to take the exam. So the MCAT is not free, right? Well, depending on if you get a waiver or something, but for the most part, you got to pay for an exam, right? Then there's some type of time commitment, meaning that, you either have the exam next week, next month, next year, right? There may be some stressors and things like that. So let me just, I should have put this on here. Let me see if I have it. Hold on. Let me see if I can transfer this over here. Give me 1 second. Because I want to give you the legend. And if I can't put it over here, what I'm gonna do is I'll have Elaine send you all the actual legend of this so you can kind of understand what this looks like. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Okay, that goes there. Okay. So whenever you're looking at the exam budget, right? So here's an example. So let's just say for exam cost, everything is numbered between 1 through 10. Okay. So 1 means like a 1, the lower the number, the better. The lower the number, the better. So 1 means you have all the money you need for the exam. So the exam is already paid for. Okay. A 10 means you have no money for the exam and no idea how you're going to get it. Does everybody understand that? And then everything else kind of falls in between there. Everybody understand that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Time commitment means you have plenty of time to prepare for the exam. Means when I say plenty of time, you have at least 6 months. That's plenty of time, right? No time basically means that you have less than a day, or it's the next day. Okay. So in between there, you're going to kind of categorize, what you are between a 1 to 10. Everything is 1 to 10. 1 meaning that you basically have less than a day to prepare. I mean, you have more than 6 months. A 10 means your test is tomorrow. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. In terms of stress, so stress could be anything that is related to social distractions or anything like that. So if you are someone who has no distractions, you would have a 1, right? If you're someone who has many distractions, that would be a 10. So we have a legend. You can go through the legend, but then at the end, you're going to calculate the total number of points, right? And this tells you how healthy you are in terms of preparation for the exam. And we have all kind of things to look at. We have your health, whether if there's anything related to that, your individual finances, meaning that, hey, your light bill is due tomorrow, but you're trying to study and you're hoping it doesn't shut off before, you finish studying, just all kind of things. Okay. Does everybody kind of understand the exam budget?
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. All right, great. Now, this right here, what did I say? This right here is probably one of the most important things that is going to change the outcome of your MCAT. One of the most important. It is how do you approach a multiple choice question? The only way you get good at this is practice, practice, and more practice, okay? So there are steps to approaching this question. The very first thing that you do when you're doing a multiple choice question is you look at just the question. What did I say? You look at what?
Just the question.
That's the question.
And you ignore the what?
The fluff.
The fluff. When you look at just the question, it helps you to direct and see exactly what they're asking you for, okay? So what is the question asking me? Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Yes.
The second thing that you're going to do is once you see what the question is asking, you're going to put the question in your own words as if you were asking or talking to a friend, okay? So you're going to ask this question as if you were talking to or explaining this question to a friend, not a Nobel laureate, not your science professor, but a friend. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Number one, what do?
Focus on question being asked.
And ignore the fluff.
Let's skip the what?
Fluff.
Skip the fluff. Number two, Joven. What do we do? Or number two, Joven?
We simplify.
And what does that mean?
We basically take the question, put it into plain wording.
Plain wording, right. And we take out anything that's in that question that we don't understand, we don't even use it. Because they don't give you a dictionary on the test, do they?
No, they don't.
So if they don't give you a dictionary, if there's a word that I don't know, I don't even worry about it. I just ignore it and look at the words that I do know, and I put the question together based on that. Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Good. Number three, Brianna, what do?
Then we take the simplified version of the question that we've made and phrase it in a way where we could easily explain it to a friend that would also be able to understand it.
There you go. Outstanding. Okay. Does everybody understand that? Okay, good. All right. Monica, can you read this question for me?
Okay, the original question, is that what you want? Or what
Yes,
do you
read
want?
the question.
Okay. In the hypothetical scenario.
Oh,
okay, wait. Okay. I'm sorry.
no.
I'm sorry. Okay. We start at the question, what immediate steps should be taken to mitigate further financial loss?
Yes, thank you. Perfect. Beautiful. Exactly. What immediate steps should be taken to mitigate further financial loss? Okay. Kiana, what is the question asking you? Is Kiana there? I'm not sure. Kia?
So it's asking basically what steps should be taken to what's basically the steps that should be taken to further financial loss.
To what?
Further financial loss.
Okay. Now, so you kind of skip this word, right?
To mitigate further financial loss.
Right. That's okay. But you basically said that word is blank, right?
Yeah.
Good. Now we're going to I want you to read it with the blank and say blank when you read it.
Okay, steps should be taken to blank further financial loss.
What do you think the blank means?
To
Say it.
increase further financial loss.
Well, hold on. Financial loss. So you think that means to increase financial?
Well, I mean, not increase financial loss, but to help that decrease the financial loss.
Okay, good. So you want to use the word decrease, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Okay, so you said what steps should be taken to decrease further financial loss? I love it. All right, great. Nadia, now what I want you to read, Nadia. Well, before you read this, Nadia, when you read this, what does your brain instantly say?
The question?
No. What does your brain say about the question? So we know what the question says. It says, what steps should be taken to decrease further financial loss? What is your brain asking?
My brain's asking, in order to in order to avoid financial loss, what steps should be taken? Like what should you do?
No, I don't want you to do that. See, I'm gonna see. Oh, this is gonna be fun. You're about to see your score skyrocket because once you learn what the brain is really asking. Okay, let's see here. Parsa.
Dr. Sutton, I'm here. I'm not sure why my mic wasn't working.
Oh yeah, okay, got you now. All right. Parsa, what would your brain be asking right now?
To spend less money.
No. You trying to get over the answer? Nope, that's not it. Robin, what would your brain be asking?
What financial loss?
Ooh, say that again, Robin.
What financial loss?
Ooh, did y'all hear that?
Yes.
Yep.
So think about that. Now, when she asks that question, the brain goes into active mode, right? So now as you start to read the rest of that question, what is your brain starting to look for?
Answers.
The answer.
Oh my goodness. And when it finds the answers, what does it do?
Get excited.
It gets excited. So let's look at this now. So the question says, what steps should be taken to decrease further financial loss? And y'all broke that down really well. And Brianna, what I want you to do now, Brianna, is I want you to read the entire original question.
Okay, so it says, in the hypothetical scenario where an individual of considerable financial acumen encounters an unprecedented downturn in the stock market, resulting in a significant devaluation of their diversified portfolio, what immediate steps should be taken to mitigate further financial loss?
All right, so what's the question asking?
Well, it's kind of stated below. So is it just if someone loses money in the stock market, what should they do right away to avoid losing more?
Yeah, I see you reading that, but did you know that already?
I was able to understand that once I read through the original question and then paired it with the question.
Okay. So Robin said her brain was saying what financial loss, right?
Correct.
And did we find the financial loss? Downturn in the stock market, devaluation.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the financial loss?
Yes.
Does everybody see that?
All that.
Yes.
So what caused the financial loss?
Downturn in stock market and
Which
devaluation.
devalued the portfolio. Y'all follow me?
Yes.
Okay, now watch this. Now, this has nothing to do with what's on your MCAT, is it?
Nope.
No, not one thing. You won't see this question on your MCAT. However, it drives home a point. If you had just read just this part right here and says what steps should be taken to mitigate further financial loss or to decrease further financial loss, could I look down and find some answer choices?
No.
Whoa, wait a minute. Let me think about that.
Yeah.
Let's think about this. Watch this. Y'all gonna love this. I'm gonna read something and then you tell me if I need it or not. In the hypothetical scenario, do I need that?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna take it out. Where an individual of considerable financial, do I need that?
No.
I don't need that. Okay. Financial acumen. Okay. Encounters an unprecedented downturn in the stock market.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Resulting in a devaluation of their portfolio.
Yep. I'm gonna say no.
Good. Why? Who said no and why?
Yeah, I said no because, as we mentioned before, financial loss is referring to the downturn in the stock market and not necessarily like the side effect of like what happens.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Yes. So look at this, y'all. Look at this. I know this is about to blow your mind. You see all this stuff that we crossed out? And all we have left is what steps should be taken to decrease further financial loss. What financial loss? The downturn in the stock market. That's it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, guess when you wait till you get to your MCAT, you're going to start seeing questions and you're going to start saying to yourself, how in the world did I not see that? Okay. Well, I'm glad oh my goodness. Now, you all know I get excited. Now, we're supposed to be going from 7 to 8 tonight, right? I know, but y'all know I get excited when we get to working. So I'm gonna let you go, but I want to show you one thing, okay? Let's see here. Oh, you know what? No, we're gonna hold on to that cliffhanger. Because I was about to pull up a question, let y'all put it into action. Not yet. We're gonna do that. We'll do that tomorrow. Okay. Anybody have any questions for today?
Yes.
Yes, I'm ready.
Are we meeting at the same time like we did today every time? Or
No,
we-
no. Today was just orientation. So our typical times that we meet are 5 p.m. Central, from 5 to 7.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I know you're West Coast, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in California.
Yeah, so it'll be 5 to 7. We will record it, and then there will be a location where you can see all the recordings if you come in late or something.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Any other questions?
I do.
Yes.
Are there any materials that's provided during these 4 weeks that we should be aware of?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So you'll get an email with the link to whatever that you're going to have provided. So whenever you signed up, they should have it on the website what's provided.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Anyone else?
Yes, I had a question. So, I guess should we receive that email with all the links and the calendar sometime tonight?
Tonight. Correct.
Okay.
That is correct. All right. Anyone else?
I just looked on our previous calendar for the people that's been in it. I saw today that we didn't have a link and that you sent it to us directly. So it's gonna be uploaded today, like the further links.
The what now? Well, not for you, Taylor. You all don't need those links. You all won't need those. Those are links for like they don't have the WhatsApp and the other things. So the only thing that you have to have is the calendar.
Yeah, on the calendar, I don't see like any class sessions for this week. Like even on the 10th, I don't see it on mine.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll make sure. Did you? Okay, we're going to send out. We'll just send out a new link, and then make sure you have that new link. Now, when you all get that new link, if you don't see it, please post that in the WhatsApp group, so that way we can respond quicker. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Okay. Well, I will see you all tomorrow. And get ready for, I know we're doing bio tomorrow, so I'm gonna get those links out ASAP so you can go ahead and start studying.
Thank you.
Thank
All right.
you.
All right. Have a great night.
You as well.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night.